This is the story of how we set up our virtual school. From the very first week of the first lockdown, we embraced home learning and remote teaching. Nobody wanted to close the school, but this was the best-worst choice, and we were determined to make it the best it could be. We are able to run our virtual school because we are able to give every child the equipment they need. For those pupils without a device at home, we furnish them with a Chromebook. For those without internet access, we provide a mobile data device and 5 GB of data per month. These devices began arriving early in the spring. This enabled us to deliver digital learning almost straight away. From September, we were able to plan our online provision, knowing that our digital offer would be universally accessible. We already had much of our digital platform in place before the pandemic even broke. For example, we used online reading and maths apps in class, because they facilitate great individual learning, progression, and monitoring. We also had the Google G Suite as our main digital workspace. We used it for email, file sharing, and similar tasks. G Suite features Google Classroom. This was a feature we had never used, but it has since become the backbone of our online provision. It integrates seamlessly with our digital workspace. It is designed to be used as an educational tool, with features that are essential for good educational delivery and management. Our remote learning is a mixture of third-party apps and services, with Google Classroom and G Suite at the core. We are therefore able to teach, set assignments, and carry out monitoring and assessment just like a physical school. Developing our remote teaching was a steep learning curve for everyone. Initially, we provided video tutorials and specific support to staff. As a result, we had a fully functioning timetable within days. Staff development continued, even after the schools reopened for the new school year. In the current lockdown, skill sharing is built into our weekly virtual staff meetings. For pupils and their families, we produced a series of video tutorials, and we provide phone and email support. From the beginning of the school reopening, we continued to build and maintain our online resources. We knew we would have to deliver remote learning to any individual or class that was required to isolate. We had an up-to-date register of pupils' IT needs, and we had an online timetable, ready to be implemented as soon as it was needed. We also had a plan in place in the event of a second school closure. In September, we began to build our virtual school. We created an interface that is simple to use and maintains the feel of our school. We want our pupils to feel included in our school community, even when we are apart. Accessible via our school website, each virtual classroom has all the learning resources and links needed to learn from home. We even have a virtual library and a classroom for our pupils who have special needs. We use 2 Google apps to facilitate online learning. For live teaching, we use Google Meet. This is for the input part of a lesson. In a real classroom, this is where the teacher would stand at the front, explaining and showing. We also use Google Classroom to set and mark assignments. We also have combined lessons that mix live lessons with online tasks. It is our responsibility to deliver the same curriculum to every pupil, whether at home or at school. In order to do this, we have 2 classes per year group, 1 virtual and 1 actual. The only real difference is the delivery method. The in-school classes are taught traditionally, COVID notwithstanding. The virtual classes have their own teacher and support staff. They teach in a way that makes best use of the techniques, technology, and learning environments of the virtual classroom. Sometimes the 2 classes are taught together, with the teacher working in class or remotely. In these cases, there will be at least 2 other members of staff supporting those learning at home. While in school, pupils get one-to-one and small group support. We replicate this in our virtual school, with staff running small group and one-to-one sessions, both inside and outside the live lessons. We still support our families too. If anything, we now provide more support and communicate with families even more. Of course, they can no longer come to school. So we use the phone and make socially distanced home visits. We maintain our community initiatives too, such as the Fair Shares food distribution project. Even our school assemblies have gone digital. The live assemblies stream to each class, as well as to all the families at home, via Google Meet and Facebook. At the beginning of March 2020, none of us expected our schools, or our lives, would resemble a science fiction story. Like so many others, school staff have been extraordinary in extraordinary circumstances. What we look forward to most though, is closing our virtual doors, and opening our real doors once more.